Welcome to the deep dive, where we cut through the noise and get straight to the insights you need. Imagine this. A single, simple daily technique that, well, according to our source material today, claims it can change your life. Like really change it, get you unstuck, attract wealth, program optimism, even foster exuberant happiness. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that sounds incredibly ambitious, right? Today, we're diving deep into the magic question, how to get what you want in half the time, by Bart Baggett. We're going to unpack how a seemingly straightforward idea could deliver such, well, profound results.
Precisely. And our mission today really is to show you how transforming your desires, your goals into these very precisely structured questions can unlock the incredible power. I mean, it's often underestimated, the power of your unconscious mind.
Right.
This isn't just about, wishing or hoping. It's presented as a practical process. It helps you find solutions, find opportunities you might otherwise completely miss.
And these are already there, maybe.
Exactly. Things you just weren't seeing. It's essentially programming your brain, they say, for optimism and fundamentally shifting your thinking for a more fulfilled life.
Yeah.
Whether you're a professional, a coach, or, just someone looking for a real change.
Okay, let's unpack that core idea then, asking better questions. The central premise of the magic question. It's surprisingly elegant, isn't it?
It really is.
It's all about turning those desires, those goals, into very specific questions. Think about what we usually do. Like, traditional self-help might tell you to use affirmations. Repeating, I'm definitely going to make $100,000 next year. Over and over.
Right, which can sometimes feel, well, maybe not believable to your own mind at that moment.
Exactly. But the magic question approach, it sort of flips that on its head.
It does. Instead of that affirmation, you'd ask something like, how is it that I'm going to make $100,000 next year? Or maybe, what am I going to produce? What value will I create that will earn me $100,000?
Okay. So it's framing it as a problem to be solved by your brain.
Precisely. And what's truly insightful here, the author argues, is that these well-crafted questions, they don't just state a desire. They, quote, leapfrog your current belief systems.
Leapfrog. I like that.
Yeah. It's not just a metaphor either. This question format directly engages your brain in a problem-solving mode. It's described as a fundamental neurotraining exercise. It kind of bypasses your conscious doubts and actively pushes your brain to find solutions, potentially creating new neural pathways.
The author uses some pretty compelling stories to illustrate this.
Yeah.
It reminds me a bit of my friend Brian, actually. A few years back, he was in a really deep hole, like $50,000 in debt.
Wow.
Yeah, some really poor business decisions, a tough divorce.
Yeah.
The whole thing. Most people might have just felt totally stuck, maybe given up.
Understandably.
But Brian, he chose a different path. Instead of just complaining or despairing, he consistently started asking himself these kinds of questions. Things like, okay, how can I pay off this debt within 3 years? Yeah, and what needs to happen for me to pay off this debt quickly and easily? Or even, I wonder where I can earn extra money to pay this off even faster. Opening up possibilities.
And also, maybe the most important one for keeping him going, how good will I feel when I am debt-free? Tapping into the motivation.
That emotional driver. And what happened?
Well, the results were pretty dramatic, actually. He started, almost like the book says, attracting opportunities. He got offers to travel the world, editing these high-end corporate videos.
Really?
Yeah. And he paid off all his debt, every penny, in just 3 years.
That's incredible.
And that whole experience, that shift, it ultimately led him to a completely new career as a fiction writer. It's a pretty powerful story about how this technique maybe primed his mind to spot those chances.
It really is a testament to that idea. But, hearing that, it does sound incredibly simple, just asking questions. Right. Is it truly that easy to, quote, attract opportunities just by asking? I mean, what's the hidden ingredient here? What turns a question into actual action and results? That's a really crucial point.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to hear magic question and think, well, magic.
Exactly. Poof.
But the book argues it's not magic in like a supernatural sense. It's more about a profound shift in your perception. And crucially, this idea of it being a neurotraining exercise.
Okay, neurotraining.
Yeah. So when you consistently ask these questions, you're basically instructing your brain, telling it to actively scan your environment, your memories, your past experiences, looking for answers and possibilities related to that question.
So it's like tuning a radio or turning on a specific radar in your mind.
That's a great analogy. The attraction isn't pulling things out of thin air. It's about recognizing and then acting upon opportunities that maybe were always there.
but previously filtered out by a different mindset or maybe just not looking for them.
Exactly. Which naturally raises another big question. How often do we limit our own choices, especially in tough situations?
Oh, constant.
Yeah. In those moments of crisis, people often narrow things down to just option A or option B. Should I pay the rent or should I buy groceries?
Classic.
Or should I leave this marriage or should I just stay and be miserable? We get so fixated on those two perceived choices.
That we miss everything else. We become blind to other possibilities.
You've hit on a really key point there. One of the book's most, I'd say, liberating concepts is this unwavering belief that there's always an option C.
Always, even if you can't see it right away.
Right, even if it's not immediately visible when you're just focused on A and B. The real problem, the book argues, isn't a lack of options.
It's our inability to see them. Our focus is too narrow.
The author shares this observation. He saw a homeless woman digging through a garbage can in Santa Monica, a really difficult image.
Yeah.
And he imagined in that moment, her internal questions were probably things like, does that trash can have any food or drink? Or maybe, should I stand on the street and beg for money? Or should I keep digging through trash cans? Very limited survival-based questions.
Focused on the immediate perceived options, A and B.
And it's hard to imagine, isn't it, in a moment of such desperation, that just asking a different question could dramatically shift her reality.
Yeah.
I mean, is the book suggesting anyone can just think their way out of extreme situations like that?
Right.
Or
Yeah.
is there a component of agency, external factors that we need to acknowledge?
That's a fair challenge. And the book isn't suggesting it's easy or that external factors vanish. Not at all. It's more about changing your internal response to those factors.
Okay, your internal game.
Exactly. So the missed option C for that woman, hypothetically, of course, could have been approaching someone with a totally different kind of question. Something like, excuse me, I've got a job interview tomorrow and I don't have clean clothes or a new dress to wear. Could you possibly help me buy a new dress so I can maybe get my life back together?
Wow. That's a completely different ask.
Completely different. It highlights that different questions, even in really challenging circumstances, can lead to vastly different outcomes. A question like that maybe gets a $20 donation.
Right, not just loose change from digging in the trash.
Exactly. It's about opening a new channel, a new possibility for solutions, by changing the request, changing the question you put out there.
And that feels incredibly relevant to all of us, doesn't it? Even if our situations aren't that extreme. In those seemingly hopeless moments, forming a magic question helps you start to see that option C, maybe option D, E, F.
It starts to broaden your view.
Yeah, it leads to making better decisions, maybe profound life changes, just by revealing possibilities that were hidden before. The book isn't about giving you the answer.
Yeah, it's definitely not a list of answers.
It's about showing you a new thought process, a way to discover those options for yourself. The author even shared his own journey with this. At 15, he asked, how can I be on that stage one day?
And that led to a speaking career.
Yeah. Then at 21, it was, how can I become a published author by the age of 24?
And he did it.
Just before his 21st birthday, yeah. It shows the power of setting that intention via a question.
He then talks about his early career, I think, in Las Vegas, where his colleagues were all focused on questions like, how can I make more money per hour?
Right, which only led them to think about option A, stay at this hotel, or option B, get a job at a different hotel.
Very limited scope, stuck in the current paradigm.
But the author, as he learned more, started shifting his own questions. He began asking things like, how can I own my own business and have freedom? Much bigger picture.
Yeah, a completely different level of question.
And what business can I start that will provide residual income for the rest of my life?
The passive income dream.
Exactly. These questions led him to study people like J. Abraham, Stuart Wilde. And eventually this path, fueled by those questions, connected a 22-year-old in what felt like a dead-end job to working with Merv Griffin 12 years later as a handwriting expert for his TV show.
Wow, that's quite a leap.
Isn't it? And his conclusion was simple. I asked better questions. Thus, I found better answers than those who never asked those questions in the first place. It really underlines the power of that directed inquiry.
Okay, so if asking the right question can literally reshape your opportunities, what's going on in the brain? How does the brain actually respond?
Right. Let's get into the why behind it. The book uses some fantastic visual games to illustrate this. Do you remember those? Like the vase faces image.
Oh, yeah, the optical illusions, or counting pillars versus seeing people.
Exactly. Or that exercise where you count all the red items in a room and then immediately try to count the black items.
And you suddenly realize you didn't even notice the black items, even though they were right there.
Precisely. The key insight from these games is simple, but really profound. Our brains find what they're looking for.
What you prime them to see.
Yeah. If you're asked to find red, you'll likely miss the black items right in front of you. It shows how our unconscious mind is constantly, efficiently sorting information, deciding what's important enough to bring to our conscious attention. It's actively filtering all the time.
And this brings us to a really fascinating part of the brain, the reticular activating system, or RAS.
RAS, okay.
It's not like one single spot, but an area where dozens of neuron pathways intersect. You can think of it like a telephone switchboard for your brain.
The switchboard, okay.
Yeah, constantly filtering all the incoming information and deciding what gets through to your conscious attention. And it prioritizes based on what you've already decided is important.
So how does it decide what's important?
Well, what's really critical here is that the RAS responds strongly to things crucial for survival, like hearing your own name across a noisy room.
Right, that always gets your attention.
Exactly. Or threats, immediate needs, and also novelty. Anything new and different tends to grab its attention. Think about the classic example. A mother living near a really noisy airport. Her RAS learns to filter out the constant jet noise. It becomes background.
But she hears the baby cry.
Instantly. Even the slightest whimper. Her conscious mind, somewhere along the line, gave the instruction, I need to hear my baby. And her subconscious, through the RAS, becomes super diligent and alert to that specific sound, even amidst all the other noise. The RAS takes its cues from your focus.
That makes sense. It also kind of explains why daydreaming can be like an RAS blocker.
Exactly. When you're lost in your own self-talk, your internal monologue, your RAS can effectively sort of shut off to the outside world.
Leading to that lack of retention. Like sitting in a classroom, you hear the teacher, but afterwards you remember almost nothing.
Or driving on the freeway and suddenly realizing you missed your exit and have no memory of the last 5 minutes.
Been there.
Yeah. Daydreaming essentially puts your RAS to sleep regarding external input, preventing that information from reaching your conscious awareness.
So what's really powerful then, and something the source material really highlights, is why using your own voice, like auditory commands, why that's supposed to be so effective.
Yes, this is key. The argument is that the RAS responds better to these auditory cues, especially from your own voice, than it does to purely visual ones like dream boards or sticky notes.
Which it can learn to ignore over time, like they just become wallpaper.
Exactly. They fade into the background. There's even a reference to a 1952 study, Dr. Magoon's sleeping cat study. It showed that external sounds could wake cats even when the communication pathways in the midbrain were blocked. It indicated that the auditory system has this kind of bypass route, and the RAS is essentially always on, always listening, even during sleep.
Wow, okay, so it's always scanning.
Always scanning for what's important. It's almost like our subconscious has FOMO, fear of missing out, when it comes to things we've tagged as significant, like our desires.
Huh. I like that.
Yeah. So when you ask your magic question out loud, the theory goes, you get your brain's full attention. You're effectively rerouting a plane to a new destination, giving near specific instructions to your RAS.
So it's not just wishful thinking. It's like a command to your internal search engine.
Exactly. This isn't presented as psychosomatic. It's positioned as a powerful trick, really, to make your mind actively scan the world for specific opportunities that align with your question.
Okay, shifting from the brain mechanics a bit, let's talk about the mindset, how this technique was apparently discovered, and how it helps cultivate a more solution-oriented approach.
Right. The author traces the discovery back to a Tony Robbins seminar, actually, way back in 1989.
Okay.
He heard the quote, "The quality of your life is the quality of your questions." Which sounds great, right?
Yeah, very quotable.
But at the time, he felt he lacked a tangible system. Like, okay, great quote, but how do I actually use that?
How do you do it?
Exactly. It wasn't until 1996, during an NLP certification program, that's neuro-linguistic programming, with someone named Rex Sykes, that he experienced this game called Good and New.
Good and new.
Yeah. Every day, participants had to find something good and new that happened. And the catch was you couldn't repeat answers from previous days.
Ah, so it forces you to keep
It
looking.
forced their brains to really dig deep into the subconscious, uncovering positive things they might have previously just dismissed or not even noticed.
I can see how that would work.
And the result, apparently, was this profound shift. Participants reported becoming happier, experiencing genuine optimism. They were effectively programming a new belief. Every day brings something good and new.
Wow.
That was the author's aha moment. He realized it wasn't just a game, it was a daily procedure, a way to actively reprogram the mind.
That good new game sounds particularly useful, maybe even for parenting. I mean, what's your take on how quickly a consistent practice like that could shift a child's mindset away from being problem-focused?
Oh, I think it could be remarkably powerful for kids. Their neural pathways are still so malleable, right?
Yeah.
Consistency would be key, of course. But just like the book highlights, it shifts them from that problem frame, like, why don't kids like me, to an outcome frame or a solution frame. What things do kids like about me, or what's good about today? You're essentially training their RAS early on to look for the positive, the possible.
That makes a lot of sense. The book then introduces this metaphor, Jimmy,
Yeah.
a neighbor who apparently had a highly tuned problem radar.
Yeah, Jimmy.
So it sounds like Jimmy was basically running a perpetual bad news channel in his brain.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if ever considered changing the subscription, doesn't it?
Exactly. Jimmy was constantly scanning his world for issues, what to complain about, asking who is to blame, or what's wrong today.
And his brain found answers.
His brain, being an excellent scanner, efficiently found answers that reinforced his unhappiness and his tendency to blame others or circumstances.
Yeah.
The core message here is that all our brains are excellent information scanners. The critical difference lies in the instructions we give them, the questions we ask.
So when we ask negative questions like, why do I keep spending all my money? Or why am I always failing?
Our brains dutifully go searching for answers that confirm those underlying, often limiting beliefs. Because you're lazy, because you're untalented, because you're not good enough. Yeah. It leads down a path towards feeling depressed, feeling hopeless, and completely missing opportunities because you're focused on the negative confirmation. These questions essentially confirm your worst fears.
Yeah, so this idea asking questions.
Yeah.
How does it really stack up against affirmations? You know, the ones many of us have probably tried. Are the results fundamentally different? And if so, why?
That's a great question because on the surface, they might seem kind of similar, right? Both are trying to influence your mindset. But while affirmations, like saying, I am rich, can have mixed results. Because let's be honest, your conscious mind might immediately pipe up with, no, you're not. Look at your bank account.
Right, the internal skeptic kicks in.
Exactly. Magic questions, the book argues, allow for a different approach to eroding those old limiting beliefs. They work by finding answers that presuppose a positive outcome is possible.
Okay, presuppose.
Yeah. They don't demand you believe an assertion that your conscious mind might reject right now. They simply ask your brain to find the pathway towards that positive outcome. It's a subtle but crucial difference.
Yeah.
The author then uses this powerful analogy. Imagine your brain is like a battleship control tower.
Okay.
And it has dozens of radars it can switch on. There's a happiness radar, a misery radar, a problem radar, a beauty radar, an opportunity radar. You get to choose which ones you turn on and focus on.
So it really is about choosing your internal focus, choosing which radar to activate. How do you actually go about activating that happiness radar then?
And activating the happiness radar is shown to be remarkably simple. The elegant question is just, what is another reason to be happy now?
Another reason
You're like-
implies there's already one.
Exactly. The question automatically presupposed that there was already another reason to be happy, forcing your brain to find multiple positives, even right here, right now.
That's clever.
It is. Think of your current life situation, your results, like a thermostat setting.
Okay.
To change your results, the temperature in the room, you have to change the internal thermostat setting. And habitually asking new, better questions is like adjusting that thermostat. This might initially create some discomfort, actually.
Discomfort. How so?
Well, the discomfort of incongruence.
Mhm.
For instance, someone who feels really uncomfortable being just, say, 2 pounds overweight might be motivated to take massive action, go to the gym, change their diet, whereas someone who weighs 400 pounds, maybe being 2 pounds overweight, doesn't register on their internal thermostat. It doesn't create that motivating discomfort. So asking questions that reset your internal standards can create the drive for change.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's get practical. How do we actually do this? The author has this very specific, unique method involving index cards.
Yes, the power of the index card.
He writes one magic question per day with a bold black Sharpie. On a brightly colored index card, it sounds almost comically simple for something claiming such profound results.
It does, and maybe the simplicity is part of its genius. Makes it doable.
So what do you do with the card?
These cards are then strategically placed around the house, places you'll encounter them unexpectedly, on the bedside table, maybe taped to the bathroom mirror, by the coffee maker.
Ah, so you surprise yourself with the question.
Exactly. The idea is for them to sort of jump out at you daily, prompting conscious engagement with the question. You see the card, you read it aloud. The auditory part is important.
Right, engaging the RES.
And then you just let your mind kind of percolate on it throughout the day. For example, seeing the question, how can I get healthier and have more energy, might suddenly prompt your brain to remember, oh yeah, that juicer I bought is in the back of the cabinet.
Or I still have those vitamins, or my gym membership is active.
Precisely. It brings existing resources and potential solutions to the front of your mind.
That makes a lot of sense. But, for someone just starting out,
Yeah.
there's always that temptation, isn't there, to try and fix everything all at once. Ask 10 different questions on 10 cards.
Oh, definitely. The overwhelm trap.
Yeah. What are some of those initial struggles listeners might face when they start trying to implement this magic question thing daily? And how does the book suggest overcoming them?
That's a very common pitfall, absolutely. And the key rule the book stresses is don't overwhelm yourself.
Okay. Start small.
Yes. Don't put 20 questions on 20 index cards scattered everywhere. The advice is to focus on just one, maybe two key questions at a time. Really let them sink in until creative solutions start bubbling up.
So patience is important.
Crucial. The struggle often comes from impatience or trying to force an answer immediately. The book really suggests trusting the process. Allow your brain the space and the time it needs to genuinely dig deep, to go beyond the obvious answers.
Okay, now let's talk about the wording, the linguistic structure, because the book says this matters a lot.
Hugely important. The author references the psychiatrist Milton Erickson, who is apparently a master at using tricky, powerful sentence structure to help his patients create change. The specific choice of words is paramount.
This is where the real nuance comes in, I imagine. It's not just any question. What are the core principles for crafting these questions effectively?
Absolutely critical. So, principle #1 is to embed positive presuppositions.
Okay, what does that mean exactly?
Remember the classic negative example? When did you stop beating your wife? That question is loaded, right? It presupposes that you were beating your wife.
Right. Nasty trick question.
Exactly. Now, apply that same structure positively. Ask yourself, how hot do I look today? Or what part of my body looks sexy today? These questions force your mind to assume a positive answer exists.
And then find evidence to support it, even if it's small.
Exactly. Principle #2 is crucial. Avoid the negative. Questions that contain words like not, can't, won't, don't. They only tend to confirm your fears and doubts.
Like asking, why can't I ever get a break?
Precisely. The book calls these terrible questions because they just reinforce the problem state. They get your brain looking for reasons why you can't rather than how you can.
Okay, so avoid negatives.
Yeah.
Got it. What else?
Principle #3. Frame your question for the present or the future. Don't dwell on past failures. Asking, why am I such a failure, is just destructive.
Leads nowhere good.
Right. Instead, focus on moving towards what you want. Use positive framing, like, how could I be even more successful this month? It pulls you forward.
Forward looking.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And finally, principle #4. Generally, avoid the word why. Now, there are exceptions, but why questions often tend to spiral into negativity or justification. Why me is classic.
Yeah.
Why am I so awesome? Isn't terrible, the author concedes, but even then a question like, what can I do today to be even more awesome, is arguably much more empowering because it invites action. How is often better than why for finding solutions.
Okay, so how is generally better than why? Avoid negatives.
Yeah.
Frame for future present. Embed positive assumptions. That's a good checklist. How do you actually build one then? Combine those principles.
The book gives a couple of structures. The simple structure is basically question word plus pronoun plus puzzle.
Puddle being the thing you want to solve or achieve.
Exactly. So how question word can I pronoun get money for college puzzle? Simple enough.
Okay.
Then there's an advanced structure, which the author seems to favor. It adds a softener and what he calls magic words.
Ooh, magic words.
Yeah. The structure is softener plus magic word plus question word plus pronoun plus puzzle.
Okay, break that down. What are softeners and magic words?
So, softeners are phrases that ease you into the question, maybe make it feel less demanding. Things like, I'm beginning to wonder, or what's it like when I...
Okay, let's direct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And magic words are adverbs that subtly suggest the way you want the outcome to happen. Words like naturally, effortlessly, automatically, easily, quickly.
Ah, so you're kind of preloading the desired quality of the solution.
Exactly. So combining it all, instead of just, how can I get money for college? You might ask. I'm beginning to wonder, softener, how effortlessly magic word I pronoun can get money for college puzzle.
I'm beginning to wonder how effortlessly I can get money for college. Okay, I feel the difference.
Or, I'm wondering, softener, what fun opportunities part of puzzle I pronoun can discover to get more money, rest of puzzle. It just frames it in a more positive, less effortful way for your brain to start working on.
The book has a great glossary of examples too, doesn't it? Across different areas of life.
It does, which is really helpful for getting started. For money, you might ask, like we said, how can I increase my income now? Or maybe more specific, what's the fastest way I can earn $5,000?
For a career, maybe, what's the best career for me where I can make plenty of money and have plenty of time with my family? Balancing different needs.
Good one. Or, how can I easily attract a supportive team around me, if that's what you need?
Relationships. What's a clever way to make my spouse feel loved today? Or even just priming positivity. How much fun is it to be in a loving relationship?
Yeah, focusing on the positive experience. For health, how can I easily lose weight safely? Or more outcome focused, how quickly can my healthy body be evident in the mirror?
And even for just general attitude, what will surprise and delight me today? That's a nice open-ended one.
Or that good and new question, what is good and new? The versatility really is impressive. You can tailor it to almost anything.
But it's crucial to remember, isn't it, that just asking the question isn't the end of the story.
Absolutely not. The book is very clear. Knowledge without action is dead. This isn't just passive goal setting. It's positioned as a neurotraining exercise to create new neural pathways.
Right.
Brainstorming ideas that come from the questions. That's just the first step. That's the raw material. Then comes judgment, evaluating those ideas, and then, most importantly, taking action on the best ones.
So the question opens the door, but you still have to walk through it.
Perfectly put. And the magic, so to speak, really happens with repetition and persistence. Your brain starts digging deeper, going beyond the obvious surface-level answers.
Finding things you didn't consciously know.
Exactly. It helps you tune into something you didn't know before, leading to those unexpected opportunities or insights, like suddenly remembering, oh yeah, my cousin's friend works in finance. Maybe they can help with refinancing. An idea that might never have surfaced if you hadn't primed your mind with the right question about, say, reducing debt.
We see this principle work in business examples too. The book mentions Sam Carpenter, author of Work the System.
Yeah, great example.
He apparently transformed his life from working insane, like 80 hours a week, to just 2 hours a week with more profit.
Incredible.
And he did this by asking questions. Initially, something like, is there a system that can help me run my business well when I'm not there?
Which is a good start.
But then he refined it, made it more powerful, into something like, what management system can I create that motivates and empowers my employees to handle all the day-to-day operations with amazing quality, efficiency, and profit without me being there?
That's a much better question, much more specific, outcome-oriented, includes the how.
And similarly, Tim Ferriss and the 4-Hour Workweek. That whole book, that whole concept was reportedly the result of him asking, how can I build a business that allows me to work just 4 hours a week from anywhere in the world?
These aren't just clever book titles. They're direct outcomes, the book argues, of consistently asking these powerful, focused questions over time.
And the author of our source, Bart Baggett, he talks about his own long-term question that shaped his career. What business projects can I invest time into today that will make money while I sleep the rest of my life?
Ah, the residual income question again.
Exactly. Which led him towards creating things like books, audio products, online courses, assets that generate income over time. It's a totally different mindset from the short-sighted question of, say, what can I do that makes me the most money per hour this year?
Yeah, it's a shift from just transactional thinking, trading time for money right now, to long-term value creation and leverage.
The book also briefly touches on using this in meditation.
Yeah, just the idea that if you practice meditation, holding a single magic question gently in your mind during that stillness can be a way to leverage that quiet focus, to let innovative ideas related to the question bubble up from the subconscious more easily.
Interesting. Combining that inner focus with the directed inquiry of the question.
Right. Letting the subconscious do its work while the conscious mind is quiet.
So wrapping this up, the magic question really presents itself as a surprisingly simple, potentially lifelong technique, a tool to consciously shift yourself from that default problem frame we often get stuck in.
To a much more proactive and resourceful solution frame.
Yeah. And the potential impact is huge, touching everything from finances and career to relationships and just overall happiness, all stemming from learning to consistently ask your brain better questions.
We really hope if this resonates with you that you try implementing this technique, even just starting small, like the book suggests. Maybe pick one area of your life where you feel stuck. Craft one well-worded magic question.
Write it on one index card.
Yeah. Put it somewhere you'll see it every day, read it aloud,
Yeah.
and just see what happens. See what possibilities begin to emerge for you over the next few days or weeks.
It leaves us with a final thought, really. If your brain is always scanning for answers, always filtering your reality based on the questions it thinks you're asking, what opportunities are you currently missing? What solutions are sitting just outside your awareness simply because you haven't yet formulated the powerful question that would reveal them?
What is the one question you need to start asking yourself, maybe starting today, to begin uncovering your own hidden options C?